evening and welcome to PRTvSpurs Paxton Raw TV, the reaction show. Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2. That was yesterday at the City Ground, where Spurs on their away travels got vital 3 points. Joining me to discuss the result, analyze some performances of certain players as well, and everything else is Sean Hurl. Good evening, Sean. How are you?
Good evening, Sid. In very, very good form. Obviously, last night's result very good. But it's a historic day, as David is indicating in the comments.
We'll go into that.
Spurs have won their first ever North London derby at home today against the Gooners. A real rearguard action, but you should, if you get a chance to see the goal. Absolute Ange ball. Absolute Ange ball of a goal.
I'm telling you.
And they won 1-0. 110 minutes, I think the game went on. It was ridiculous.
I know.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. And well done to the girls. Slight sad note tonight to hear that Tom Lockyer, the Luton captain.
About to say
yeah,
that.
Very good. To hear he's collapsed on the field. Starting to get a bit anxious about this. It seems to be happening more often than not. Or are our players playing too much?
Yeah.
A discussion for another day, perhaps. But very happy generally with the state of things in Tottenham land.
Absolutely. And for joining us, PRTvSpurs or Paxton Raw TV, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also smash that like button for today's episode. Yeah, so if you've not heard people today, Bournemouth are playing Luton Town, and their captain, their very own Tommy Lockyer, collapsed at the centre circle. Nobody was anywhere near him, and it was very distressing. It was all eventually sorted out. He was stretchered off, and the fans and everybody was left obviously waiting for a decision. Match had been abandoned and then suspended, and then eventually abandoned. The players came out, both set of players and the managers, and it was very sad to see them doing their lap of honour. And Rob Edwards was absolutely bits. He was in tears as well, absolute bits. But you know, everybody from PRTvSpurs, Paxton Raw TV, all the viewers, and I'm sure every other football fan in the world, whoever used for support, is wishing Tommy Lockyer a very speedy recovery, mate, and hope to see you again in the Luton colours very soon. All the best. You know, some interesting results today as well, Sean. Very interesting results today. But
I haven't seen. The only result I've seen, or the only score I've seen, was City 2, Palace 2. I don't know if that's how it ended up. I don't know any of the other scores, so you'll need to tell me.
Yeah, I think that was the main one. I think Chelsea won, Newcastle won, and then Man City 2-0 up at home. Nearly lost it in the dying seconds. But we're not here to talk about that. We are now here to talk about Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and Ange Ball and the performance yesterday. What a performance. Well, no, it wasn't what a performance. I don't think it was. I was overconfident. I did say we was going to win 4-0, but then I didn't realise that going to the City Ground, very compact stadium, it was going to be tough. And if there's any club that's going to make it even tougher, it's Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, because we do like to do things in an awkward and hard way. But we've got to give them, you know, they've done a job. 2-0. Richarlison and Kulusevski with the goals. Richarlison looks like he's coming back to form. Sean, great performance and a massive win. We'll go into the team and we'll go into players' performance and everything. But in general, how happy was you with that result last night, going to the City Ground and getting very crucial 3 points?
Two really pleasing things was was lots of players stepped up last night, particularly when we went in adversity. But the clean sheet, I can't stress how much a clean sheet is really important. And I think you can see that when there's, I don't know if you've seen the picture with Vicario and the back four.
Yes.
At the end of the game, giving it loudly about how, you know, that they were really happy about the clean sheet. Excellent performance by Vicario. I mean, unorthodox, but he made some saves. I know a lot of people are still getting onto him about his punching and parrying, but do you know what? If the ball stayed out of the net, I'm more than happy for him to carry on doing what he's doing. He's my keeper, as they say, hashtag my keeper. But yeah, the clean sheet, the result, you know, coming back from adversity, yeah, fantastic. Wasn't you know, it wasn't as free flowing as maybe Villa, West Ham, and Newcastle games, but 2-0 kind of away from home. Love it.
You know what it is now? I think we're now okay. Yes, Ange Ball, home and away. He loves to play to win, high line, attacking football. But there's games where teams are just going to set up, like Forest did yesterday. I mean, Forest did play well, and they did have us a few times, you know. But it's nice to see that we can actually sit back, we can go forward as well, and we can sort of grind out results. You know, so as long as we're grinding out results away from home, I'm playing relatively well and then doing the business at home. I'm more than happy with that. And more importantly, with the current situation of suspensions, injuries, you know, lack of depth in our squad, I think what we're doing is just amazing. It's fantastic to see, you know, Spurs where they are, good football. And we're only 3 points behind Gooners. Obviously, they've got a game in hand, but you know what? 1 point behind City now, so it's good. It's good. And imagine when we get all our players back. So yesterday, it wasn't like you said, wasn't 100%, but possession we still had 67% possession to their 33%. 15 shots Nottingham Forest had, we had 12. They had 1 shot on target. We had 6 shots on target. 6 corners to our 4. 2 big chances for them. We had 2 big chances. They missed both their big chances. We missed 1 big chance. Accurate passing, 179. 73% theirs was. Ours was 486. 89%. And expected goals 1.35 to their 1.7. Going away from home, Sean, we're not, you know, technically we shouldn't be having that much possession, but because the way we play now under Ange, are we now going to have a lot of possession and just and our team's just going to sit back at us and wait for us to sort of break down for them to attack us, or is this just?
Well, I mean, if you're, I mean, let's have it right. Forest are a weaker team than ours, weaker squad than ours, and they you know, they obviously have to play to their strengths. Where they've picked up points, they have sat back and defended leads and things like that. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna, you know. But what I like about this team is that we're managing to find a way to win those kinds of games. It's something we didn't do a lot. We struggled with under Pochettino. We also struggled a bit under, you know, when we were defensive as well. When they went low block and we were kind of forced to come out, we didn't seem to have the tools often to do that. But last night we found it. I must admit, the first 10, 15 minutes of the first half, I thought we were all over them, and Son should have scored very, very early on. But after that, I think Forest took quite a measure of control of the game. And I was starting to get a wee bit anxious, you know, at 0-0. And, you know, well, you know, our answer just before half time was absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on.
You know what? I agree with you. And I think, you know what? We didn't, I mean, I agree with what, didn't enjoy the game even after we scored, anxious until the final whistle. It's like you said, it wasn't a vintage Spurs performance. It was what we had to do like you said, they were weakened. And they didn't produce much. Although they did huff and puff at us a few times. Maybe they could have nicked a goal or not, maybe not. But we sort of controlled them. But when they did attack, I sort of thought, are they gonna? And then obviously we got the goal. I agree with you on Son one as well. I think he should be burying that. Absolutely should be burying that. But 67% possession away from home, Sean, and we're missing a lot of players. So 12 shots, 6 on target. It's not, you know what? It's not bad away from home, and to score to win 2-0. 486 passes, 89% possession. Just going into that, right? That stat that came out about Conte's record and Postecoglou's record up until yesterday's game, almost identical.
It was identical, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that was. I mean, that was a bit of a mind,
it was
bad word. I mean, I was like, wow, was it really? And you just forget that last time, about a year ago, what we were doing, we were probably now in the World Cup, but we didn't know when the World Cup was in swing by now. But we were just grinding out those results. You know what I mean? It was ugly. It was plug ugly to look at, but we were grinding out those results and staying in touch, and we were in the top 4. Obviously, we're not in the top 4 at the moment, but it's very strange. But I mean, I'm so much more enjoying the football this season, and a lot of that's down to the fact that we have possession. And I thought yesterday was a big up to our defence. I thought our defence was immaculate across the back 4, but in particular, and this is a player who doesn't get his flowers often enough and gets a lot of opprobrium across our fan base. Ben Davies.
We talk after.
Yep.
Yeah, we talk about after. As expected, then the team, Vicario in goal, as you can see, because I can, but you can't. So here you go. You can see it as well. As expected, Vicario in goal, and the back 5, Pedro Porro, Destiny Udogie, whatever. Udogie, and that as well. Over Romero and Davis. Right. So we knew the back 5, right, was going to be like that. Bissouma, Saw, Kulusevski, Johnson, Son, and Richarlison. So, where is it gone? I was looking at a comment, but I can't find it. However, we knew what the team was going to be. We knew exactly what the team was going to be, and because of obviously players injured in suspension, first couple of minutes, I agree, and I think David said the same. Son should be burying that at all costs on his form, yes. And Johnson, and then you had the Johnson injury, which at the time, obviously, I was driving on my way home, so I just saw a little bit, but I didn't realize that he'd been elbowed and there was blood pouring. And one of them referees again, where unfortunately, if he's done by a Spurs player, we get penalized. If he's done by anybody else, it's not. The team done what they were supposed to do, right? The lineup for the first.
Yeah, I mean, for the opening while Johnson was still on the pitch, they were trying to do what they're doing. I thought that is it Topolo that was the left back?
Yes.
He kind of had Johnson a little bit in his pocket, although it seemed he was just getting, he was getting more into the game before he was, his game was ended very early. I did feel there's a little lack of respect from the Forest fans for their former player. I couldn't believe I was hearing boos.
Yeah, but then
it's not, it's not like he didn't leave them and sort of say and just you know, he always said positive things about the club. And his dad used to play for the team, for goodness sake, so as well. So anyway, it was.
Yeah, but he got the reception.
Anyway.
He got the reception when he went off, didn't he? Because they started.
But that, to me, that was them doing a job on him.
Yeah,
and I have to say that was another feature of the game as well. Was the close to the bone tackling.
Yes.
Throughout the game, and the boy Yates. Boy Yates was a shocking example of professionalism. Calling for yellow cards, getting players sent off. Well, I mean, we can argue that, but you know, he was completely over the top, and never got a yellow card himself. And you look at Destiny's yellow card, which means he's missing next week. It's nothing. It's an absolute nothing challenge. And you know, I mean, thankfully, Christian didn't get his yellow card, and he's available next week. But it does leave us in a bit of a pickle come Everton's visit.
Yeah. In terms of team performance then yesterday, and we'll talk about obviously your player of the match and a couple of players I want to talk about at the end. Back four done the job. I think back four were fantastic. Pedro Porro on foot done really, really well, but he just kept getting fouled constantly. And again, he was running forward, trying to get into the thick of things. Kulu and Saw did did what they were best at. Richarlison looking like a different player. And I think we mentioned it the other day that he turned around and said about his injury now that he's so happy, he's all cleared. Now you're going to start seeing him score more goals and the best of him. I think he had a decent game. Johnson, I agree with you. I think the tactic they used on him to boo him and everything, I think he sort of got to his head, because I think he was expecting a very, very good reception from the Forest faithful, and they didn't give it to him. And I think that must have sort of puzzled him a little bit, because he was probably thinking, oh God, what have I done wrong? And I think it sort of played on his mind. I don't think he was having the best of game anyway, up until that injury. Sort of changed it. But as a team performance, I think Kulu then went out on the right, didn't he? And I think Højbjerg came on and Kulu started playing really well. So for me, team performance-wise, I think we've done really well. Like you said, at the end, Vicario called the defence over and they were all huddling and that, because I think clean sheets are really, really important. I know they get their bonuses and whatever, but I think they've done really well. Out of all them, Sean, is it another team performance again away from home? Is this now what we should be expecting? A team performance, one for all and all for one?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to dig in. You could see that they were fighting for each other, and you know, I thought as you've already indicated, the back four were solid enough. For me, as you said, the possession that we had away from home, I wouldn't say that we were completely in control of the game, even with that possession and even with our pass accuracy. But there are different ways to win a game, and I'm more than happy that a game which Forest contributed to make quite ugly. We won ugly, and we took our chances, and we got home, got out of Dodge, and can put our feet up and hopefully recuperate and work out how we're going to face Everton next weekend. Yeah.
I mean, Udagi attempted a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge, but because he was a third of a stride of him, it became a charge. But he wasn't deliberately trying to stop his opponent from breaking away with a yellow. Do you know what? Honestly, right, I'm not going to lie. And I think David said it as well. If the referee can't see what's happening on the pitch, then they should be refereeing, because some of the decisions yesterday, it was just ridiculous. I mean, that is never a yellow card, like you said, and it's costing us suspensions. And then Yates can do what he wants on the pitch. And as far as I was aware, if you're trying to get a person yellow carded, isn't that a yellow card for you as well? So this refereeing, it seems like, I know it's everyone's going to say, "Oh, stop it, stop whining." It seems to be like an agenda, doesn't it? When whoever Spurs are playing, it's okay for the other team to do what they want, but the moment Spurs do something, we get penalised for it. But you know what? It's football, isn't it? We've just got to get on with it. And as Ange said, just got to get on with it. First goal then. Obviously, Johnson went off. Kulusevski switched to the right. Holberg came into the middle. What a cross by Kulusevski on a sixpence. And Richarlison banging it into the back of the net. That is what we're missing. Kulusevski can do that. Yeah. And even after the game, when I was watching it, when they were talking about Neville and that, Carragher, Neville said, the way he gets that ball and then cuts it in, he said, what a cross. He said, that is what he can do. He's got it in him. He needs to do that more often because that kind of quality was world class, as he said. And what a finish by Richarlison. What did you make of that on the first one?
All right, when you said talk about the first goal, I thought you were going to talk about their disallowed goal, which was the most clearly offside goal in the world, and still took 10 minutes to find out. Oh, anyway, no, yeah, absolutely. I mean, because it was against the run of play, it just stood out like a sort of a rose amongst the thorns, didn't it? It was a perfect cross, and I just loved the way that Richarlison headed it in and had his fun with the Nottingham Forest fans behind the goal who were giving him jip, weren't they? Because of last season, football fans have the memory of they don't forget things in a hurry, do they? So yeah, he obviously enjoyed that, and it was just perfect. I mean, we found out ourselves what a goal just before half time can be like in improving the mood. When Villa scored against us at the Lane a few weeks back. So it was great to score against the run of play, but a perfect goal. And I don't like to see Kulu out on the wing now because I love him as a number 10. But it was great cross. And it set him up for, a powerhouse of a performance in the second half too. So yeah, great stuff.
And as well at the end, they were talking about it and they were bigging him up, Kulusevski, in the interview at the end when he went to get interviewed by the pundits. And Neville turned around and said, they're talking about him playing in the number 10. And Kulusevski did say, didn't he, that he started off as a number 10. And then when he went to Juventus, they chucked him out on the right. And he said, I just got on with it. But he goes, yes, I am a number 10. And Neville turned around and said, well, if James Maddison's watching, mate, you got a problem now. Because he goes, people are saying, oh, you're making him number 10. What about James Maddison? He said, James Maddison's going to have to fight for his position now. He said, I'm sorry, James, but you're going to have to fight for it if Kulu's going to carry on playing like that. But we all know anyway, when Maddison comes in, it's going to be interesting because Maddison takes over that role anyway. But it's good to see. And then, obviously, second half, Kulusevski gets his goal. But, people were saying it's a bit lucky. Keeper should have saved it. But you know what? At the end of the day, right, you've got to do the hard work, the dirty work. Son does that. Running, from the goal kick, he's running to the defender. Then he's running back to put pressure on the keeper. Keeper makes the mistake, scuffs his kick to Kulu, and then Kulu does the rest and buries it. Yes, everyone's saying keeper should have saved that. But I'm telling you now, I'm a keeper. Power on that shot, man. I don't know. Great finish.
It was a wonder that Matt Turner wasn't looking for his hands in the back of the net as well, because it was some force, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, there was only one place that was going, and that was in the net, and it was just good to see. Because too often Kulu doesn't pull the trigger when he has an opportunity, again, I seem to remember there was an opportunity where he went for a cross rather than a shot, and a shot top bins was on, and he's got that ability. You can put the ball in the top corner if he wants to, and I just wish he would do it more often. But yeah, drill it through the keeper, however it goes in. I don't care if it's a mistake by the keeper. He's their player, not my player. All I want is us to be having shots, scoring goals, winning games, and getting out of dodge, and that's what we did.
Exactly, and it's 1-0. The game's still up in the air. Forest are going to start making substitutions. Chris Wood comes on, blah, blah, blah. So you know what? When you get these kind of opportunities, and we've been saying it for weeks on end, we need to bury these games, because at 1-0, you never know. You're on tender hooks because you're thinking, oh no, it only takes a mistake, or it takes this, or it takes that, and they're back in it. And then to get that goal, I don't care how we get that goal. I don't care. We got that second goal, and that, for me, killed the game off completely. And second half performance from Kulusevski was really, really good. And like you said, when he went out on the wide, our form in the middle sort of dipped. Again, if Mr. Glassman didn't, I don't know what's wrong with him, but Mr. Glassman's ideal opportunity on Friday, last night, to come in to take that number 10 role. I'm talking about Lo Celso. Yeah. And when Kulu went out wide, it would have been ideal for him to come in. But we don't know what's wrong with him. So it is what it is. Now, so Richarlison, Kulusevski, oh, what was it gone again? I keep forgetting. Richarlison, Kulusevski with the goals. And then obviously substitutions, which was inevitable. Skip came on for Højbjerg. What did you think of Skip's performance? I think he looked a little bit lost when he came on.
I think he took a while to get into the game, but I thought in the end he was contributing. He should have been more greedy and had a shot when he was through. Instead, he tried to pass it to Saar, and Saar hadn't actually caught up with him. But no, I don't get this dismissal. I think, to be honest, if Basuma had gone off, I would have rather had Skip than Højbjerg. But that's just me. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not Dane's biggest friend at the moment, and I have been in the past. But yeah, I mean, Hans called it, and we won the game, so he's justified in saying what he thought. I was surprised Skip came on for Johnson, but
yeah,
what else? What was the other option? Really, we on the bench we didn't really have a wide player per se, did we? I mean, Valise is a centre forward, so yeah, I just think it's It was in Ange's call, and I don't think he did too much wrong. He did give away a couple of passes early on, but once he got into the game, he got stuck in, and with a bit more bravery, he could have really clinched the game with 3-0. But we have to remember we went 2-0 up. 10 minutes later, we're down to 10 men, and I think we need to talk about that. Well,
there we go. We've got to talk. So that's that. Now we've got to talk. It's good to talk, as Mr. Hoskins said. Was it Hoskins? It's good to talk. It's good to talk. And guess what? We're going to talk. But we're going to talk about this man first. What did you think of Ben Davies' performance? I'll let you go first.
For me, he was man of the match. For me, I thought he was his contributions in terms of defensive clearances, his linking up the plays, carrying the ball forward, was just slightly more than Kulu. I know that both of them, you can make a case for both of them, but for me, I thought he had a brilliant game, Davis. Yeah. And I hope that some of those players, he gets a lot of shade, and he doesn't say he's not a first choice. He's not in the first 11. He's not in my first 11. But I tell you what, as a dependable squad player, you'd be hard pushed to get someone like him.
Yeah. And do you know what? It's what it is. And Postecoglou has said that. Unfortunately, he's not a centre back. He's a left back, but I have to play him. He's played in a free for Wales. He's played there before. But I have to play him because of that. Even David Clarke is saying, I'm going to faint. Davies had an incredible game. Juice Nuts also agrees that Davies did good, but not man of the match. What's the point, FC? But Ben Davies, Poro, and Romero were excellent, as was Udagi, until he got that stupid yellow card. This is a good one. Davies is developing a good partnership with Romero. Do you know what? The last couple of games I've seen him play, right? Newcastle and yesterday, we've all slagged him off, Davies. We've all said he's getting too old. He's got to go. You know, he's getting old. He's getting laggy. This, that, the other. But you've got to give him credit where it's due. And against Newcastle, I thought he was excellent. Yesterday, I thought he was excellent. Everything he'd done right, heading the ball, getting the ball away, defending, going forward as well. He likes to come out with the ball, and you know what? He likes to venture into the unknown. Somewhere
he took a yellow for the team as well.
He took a yellow. You remember a couple of weeks ago, Sean? I was saying we need players. I think, who was it? Was it the Newcastle game where we counter-attacked and Gimenez took a yellow for the team because we was on a 2v1? And I said, we need players that need to start taking one for the team. Davies yesterday done exactly that, took one for the team. And I think, like, I think David or somebody said, or was it, what's the point, FC? The partnership between him and Romero, I think, is developing, and I think they're getting better, stronger. That back five now as a unit, it's just getting better. The understanding, they know everything. The mistakes are getting cut out as well. And you know what? Ben Davies, mate, well done. You've got to give it to him. You know what? Born to Lose saying Ben was immense last night. A much better player than some take him for.
Very good. Yeah, I have to agree.
100%. Because what it is with Ben Davies, I think, in my opinion, right? Because of all the shit that's been happening in the last couple of years, and him, Dave, Sanchez, Dyer, him, he seems to be the one that is stuck in a sort of a crowd of players that keep getting slagged off. And he makes one or two and everyone starts going on his back. But now we're seeing that if you take away them lot and you put him with good players, we're now seeing how good he can really be. So for me, until I'm quite happy, I'm not saying we don't need another centre-back, but I am quite happy. There's quite a few people that are still not happy, but I'm quite happy at the moment with him playing at centre-back with Romero. It'll be interesting to see, obviously, what happens in January. And out of all the deadwood that needs to get rid of, I would keep him as a backup, because you can't go wrong with Ben Davies. Experience, and he can play left back and centre back, and he's doing a job. Which brings me on, Sean, and I know everybody wants to talk about it, but we have to talk about this guy, man. We have to talk about this guy, Ben Davies, Yves Bissouma. I don't know what's going on, Sean. I don't know what's going on. Enlighten me, please. What did you think?
It's funny, isn't it? Where has the Yves Bissouma of the first 8 games of the season gone to? It is unbelievable what has happened to that guy. And I thought with the return of Sarr last against Newcastle, he was back. You know, I thought he had a very good game against, you know, not quite at the same level as his early season, but he was better against Newcastle. But I mean, I'm starting to think, you know, there's something he needs spoken to. He needs spoken to, because it was a woeful challenge, you know, challenge. It was high. I don't think it was quite as malicious as the Forest player made out, and I don't think it was as impactful as the Forest player. But you know, again, his controls let him down. It's much like the City goal, you know, the third Grealish's goal for City against us. A loose touch, and he's lost the ball, and he's forced into. Well, in their case, they smuggle the ball away and score. In this case, he's committed to a rash challenge. And, I mean, he even made it worse for himself by arguing. I've never known a referee say, change their mind and say, "Oh, I'm going to withdraw my red card." You just have to take it, walk off, and respect the referee. I hope someone gets into Basuma's head, but we won't now see him until possibly February.
That's right.
It's like a long-term injury now, and we now need to find someone to play that number 6. I'm not confident in Højbjerg playing the number 6. I know I get shouted down for saying that I'd rather have Skip there, and I just hope that we can find something. I remember Skip and Sarr in Milan last year had an excellent game against the current Italian champions at the time, but I really don't know. I don't know. I want the Basuma from the early part of the season back. I really want him back because he's a great player and a wonderful addition, and he adds something to the team with Maddison. But someone needs to have a word in his ear. He's now, as I say, we won't see him in a Spurs shirt till February at the earliest, and it's a loss to us, a loss to our squad, and we he may find, if we do find a solution at number 6, he may find it difficult to get back into the team, and he's really only got himself to blame.
You know what? I agree with you. We'll continue that as well. And Born to Lose is saying, just to go back on Ben Davies, let's not forget Ben Davies was in contest defence from the start and was rarely dropped. Antonio, for all his faults, knows how to defend and clearly trusted Mr. Davies. Basuma's nightlife has been called out as he's apparently going out partying a bit, and I'd question, is he trying to get home early to Africa? Ange was not happy with him. Born to Lose is saying here, Biss looks worryingly shaky without Sarr alongside him. No arguments with the red. A reckless, stupid challenge. I wouldn't be surprised if Basuma got sold in the summer. Right, my take on it is you're 2-0 up. Oh no, was we 1-0 up when he got sent off?
No. We were 2. We'd scored 10 minutes earlier, the second goal.
Right, so we went 2-0 up. Why is he making that kind of a challenge? He's lost the ball and then he's running in. Why are you trying to make that challenge? Right. Secondly, okay, it is a dangerous tackle. Referees already made the online decision, right? However, as always, let's have a look at it. It's a Spurs player who's made the tackle. Let's go to VAR. Let's slow it down for 500 seconds and make it very, very slow so we can make it look like it's a dangerous tackle, right? When you actually look at it, it is sort of flicked the side as he's going away. He's not hit him in the middle or whatever. He sort of got him on the side and he's brushed away. The person who's got tackled, obviously, Mr. Yates made a meal out of it, and as captain, obviously, it's made it worse, and he's got sent off. Now, again, why are you making that challenge when you're 2-0 up? What is the issue? I honestly now, like you said, Sean, he's now done until the end of the African Nations Cup, right? Unless they get kicked out of it. So he's gone. He's got a very early Christmas present. He can now go start partying and do whatever he wants to do, blah, blah, blah. Postecoglou must be pissed off with him. He needs to have a word with him, or somebody needs to have a word with him, because prior to the game, they were interviewing him. I don't know, he was on, somebody interviewed him, and that video went viral, and he was saying how good Sarr was and how his partnership is and the players and the team and stuff like that. And then you go and do that to let the team down, you know. And it's like you said, he's picking up reckless, stupid yellow cards where he doesn't need to. Yeah. So if you're doing it for the team and you're playing as a team, why are you getting yourself into that kind of a problem?
Well, I mean, to me, it was a really poor touch. It was down to his poor touch. Exactly. And then he panicked. And the thing was, the guy was far from goal. It wasn't as if he was like bearing down on goal. The challenge was unnecessary.
That's what I mean.
And it was just like you made it easy for the referee. You really made it easy for the referee.
Yeah, and for what? Yeah. And the thing
You
is,
just
Sean,
fair, don't you?
and the thing is, we've got players injured. We've got players on yellows. Why are you doing that? Right? Why are you doing that? Because now we haven't got him. Yeah. And luckily, we've only got 2 games in January and a cup game. But we've got 3 games before Christmas. And the way this PL's going at the moment, it's up for grabs for anyone. And he is a pivotal player in our team, which is now obviously not going to be available. So Postecoglou, he's got obviously he still has faith in him, but does he now have to sit down between now and January and think that do I now need to go and get in another number 6 as well? Because do I trust this guy? Is he going to carry on doing these kind of stupid things? And am I going to start missing him a lot more? 2 red already this season. Yeah. And he's going to, how many games is he going to be? It's about 7 games now, isn't it, in total? Can you Can you have somebody like that in your team, Sean? That's going to.
Well, I mean, we're getting on to Romero from missing so many games through. I mean, Simba's not above critique as well, and I thought he's as I say, if we find a solution to number 6, and I'd say that would normally be your Uruguayan number 30.
Yeah.
Then I would say you're not going to get back in the team unless there's unless you buck your ideas up. But we're without Bentancur, unfortunately, who's obviously would be my preferred number 6.
Yeah.
But it's madness, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I expected it from Romero, but Romero was cute last night and didn't get himself involved in any of that nonsense. But I am saying the same about Romero, David. Actually, yeah.
We have. I think we said it. Did we say it in the preview show, or did we say after the? We have said it, David. We have said that Romero needs to change his attitude as well, because at the end of the day, again, him centre back, he's now becoming a very, very vital part of this Postecoglou team, and I think they are going to have words, because there's certain players that they need to obviously have words with to get that kind of stupid. And even Destiny's another one where they might, but he's young, but they're going to have words with him to say, listen, guys. We love your passion, but you've just got to play the game with your head now. Don't rush into tackles. Don't pick up stupid yellow cards, because these yellow cards are going to cost us. And it is costing us it's not costing us because we're winning games, but had we been losing, then it probably would have cost us games, and they've got to learn that. They've got to learn. And hopefully Bissouma will learn that. But we're not going to know now until maybe early February.
And it gives us a problem for a team that are in form next coming to our place next weekend.
Absolutely. Everton. Yeah.
Everton, who I understand are leading 2-0 at Burnley tonight. So it's not, we're going to have to juggle our back 4 again when we had a settled back 4, which we were happy enough with.
Yeah,
I don't know what Ange's solution is to that. I mean, I really wouldn't want to see Royale reprise his left back position, because he's a danger. He's a danger. Well, he's so right-footed,
The options you got is playing Royale centre back, putting Davis left back, but I don't think he will. I think he'll stick with Davis and Romero are centre backs. Maybe Royal comes in. Maybe he puts Pedro on the left and Royal on the right. Who knows? Sessegnon might be available. I don't know. Or do you then go with, it's a long shot, Dorrington centre back and put Davis left back? Only time will tell during the week when.
Well, but between the coaching staff and the playing staff, it'll need to be sorted out, and they'll be watching Everton. Obviously, and to be watching the playback of the game tonight.
Of course.
And look at patterns, because I wouldn't want. Well, I don't know who plays wide right for Everton. I know McNeil plays left, but it's they're obviously in a run of form, and they're scoring goals. So
Yeah.
a lot of pressure on our defence, and we need to be on our mettle for next week.
David Clark Bissouma is just not at it. He's just not showing that power and ability to go past players. He seems to be coasting. Is it, David? Do you think he's coasting into the African Cup of Nations, AFCON, because he doesn't want to get injured or whatever? He wants to be fully fit. I think he's just cooling, coasting, because I think he probably wants to go into the AFCON. I don't know, but something's obviously not right, and it's down to our management team to get that sorted, because we're lucky we've only got 2 games in January. All right, 3 games before Christmas, which are big games: Everton, Bournemouth, and Brighton, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think on Johnson, they're saying Postecoglou come out and said it's nothing serious. It was fine. It wasn't concussion. So
Johnson should be patched up and ready to play. So the front three will be, should be the same, but there's no doubt about it that not having cover at left back is
it's going to be a problem
good for us.
Yeah,
not good
it's going to be interesting. We'll find out obviously during the week after they've done their training sessions and Angie's post press conference comes up. So to sum it up then, Sean, 3 points at the City Ground. Spurs 2-0. Richarlison 3 in 2 games now. Kulusevski finding some good form. Going into the Everton game next week, how happy are you now that we've got the points in the bag? Because you know what, we were playing well sometimes last season and we weren't getting it, but now we've gone from 4 losses to 2 under bounce to winning. It's job done, isn't it?
It's interesting. I think it was on the talking points the other night. We were looking at how many points we'd get over the next 4 games, and I was sort of saying, I'm just thinking about the next game, and I'll get the 3 points there.
Yeah,
we've got Everton, tough game, but we're at home, so I want us to get the points there.
Yeah.
Brighton away, going to be a tough one. Going to be a very tough one.
Yeah.
And I think I went with 9, didn't I? And I think others of us went with 12. Mentioning no names, Mr. Sid, and I think Sam was somewhere in between. I think he went with 10, didn't he? Or, anyway,
yeah, I think so. But you know what? Like you said, we just take 1 game at a time. We get 1 game at a time.
Mm-hmm.
They're not all going to be easy games. They're going to be tough games, but we've just got to turn up on the day. You know what I mean? Jews. Come on, you Spurs. Weird EPL this season. Expecting a few more twists. Could we? Do you know what? Jews, 1 game at a time.
Could we what?
I know. You know what he's trying to say.
He's laughing though. He's just dropped off his laughing emoji. There's no chance. Not a hope in hell.
No, but you know what? I'm enjoying it. Let's just carry on. However, what I will say, had we had all our players fit, then, Jews, I probably would have been saying, yeah, maybe, yes, we could. But let's see what happens in January. Let's see what happens with January. Certain link today with a certain striker from a team in London. We could talk about. David went with 8. He said 2 wins and 2 draws. Yeah, so but we'll talk about transfers as we move on again. Sean, final thoughts then.
Yeah, good to get the points. Good for the girls today to beat Arsenal, who have obviously got 10 years professional experience more than us.
Yeah.
And obviously thoughts with Tom Lockyer tonight with his, after he's collapsing on the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, well done Spurs. I like to see us having wins across the club.
There you go, Sean. Spurs 5 shots. Woolwich had 31. I bet Ange gave them some team talk motivation to put that win out.
I think Robert Wilhelm done a good enough job. If you look at that goal, that is pure class. The goal that wins the game is absolutely superb. And I hope it's I do hope it's our December goal of the month, to be honest, because it's that good.
What? Do you know what? They were waxing, absolutely waxing. But you know what the other thing was? They turned around and said, oh, they were brave bringing it out. And at one point, I thought they were going to lose the ball at the back. But then, wow. And I'm like, why is there always negativity? Always negativity, yeah? You know what I mean? But end product. And then at the end as well, should have buried it really when they had that keeper was up for the corner. I don't know what happened there, but they should have buried it to make it 2-0. But it's always good to beat them lot. So well done, the Spurs ladies, and big up to the goalkeeper making a debut in a North London derby.
Yeah, she was man of the match as well.
She was
man of the match. Yeah, so that's really good. Really good.
So well done, the ladies. I'm just going to say, do you know what? We just game by game, we move on. We get our players back. We've just got to count the days, and we've got to cut out these stupid freaking yellow cards, because Sar's on four yellows now. So he's
a booking away from a
he's a booking away
now.
Exactly. So we could end up theoretically with Skip Højbjerg midfield, right? So
and Lo Celso.
Well, it depends if the wind hits him or something else hits him. So
I understand it's not very serious, so I expect Lo Celso to come back
on Monday. Yeah. Right. Sean, thank you very much.
Thank you to
everyone in the comment section. Thank you for all your comments. Hope you're just as happy as everybody at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club is. 3 points at City Ground yesterday. North London derby for the women win today. We move on. Next week to Everton. Hopefully everyone's fully fit. We have a full team, barring suspensions. If you haven't already subscribed to PRTvSpurs on Paxton Road TV, what you waiting for? Get over there.
Where you been?
And make sure you follow as well, and like button. Press that like button, because do you really like it? Is it wicked? I'm loving it. So have a great evening, everyone. Enjoy whatever you're doing, whether you're doing Christmas shopping or whatever you want to do, whenever you're doing it. Enjoy it. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Yep, and we will be back next week. So keep a lookout for future shows, talking points, preview shows, and the reaction show. See you all later.
More developed football.